So it's been a few weeks since we planted our seeds. So now the next step is to thin out some of the plants. So with most vegetables, you do have to thin them out so they don't grow too close together. And on every package of seeds, it'll tell you the spacing. So with kale, for example, the spacing is 18 inches. With carrots, because carrots are a much smaller plant, the spacing with that would be closer to 1 to 2 inches. So now I'll show you how to thin the kale plants. So the kale seed package says 18 inches, so I'm going to keep the plant here and a plant here. So in between I've got some extra plants that I'm just going to pull out. There's a couple ways you can thin plants. I can just simply pull these out, these ones that we're not going to need. But over here I've got some that are clustered together. So if I try to pull this one out, I may end up damaging the root to the one that I want to keep. So you can use just a simple scissors to clip the unwanted plant, and that way I'm not disturbing the root of the plant that I want to save. And now we have the zucchini plants, which I've already started to thin out about 18 to 24 inches apart. But now I see I actually have two that are right on top of each other here, so I need to remove one of these, and this one doesn't look, this one's got some damage on it, so I'm going to remove it. And like I was saying before, is the safest way, rather than pull this out and damage the roots of this plant, I'm going to take the scissors and just cut that plant out there. So we've thinned out most of the garden. We haven't thinned out our carrots yet, because they're not tall enough. What you want to do is, again, look at the seed package. It'll tell you how tall the plant should be before you thin them, because you do want them to be tall enough. And so now that most of the thinning has been done, the focus now would be on weeding. So you definitely want to pull out, in our case here we've got a lot of grass, so you can pull out the weeds on a regular basis. You could maybe weekly, you could do that. Of course, it's easier if you get the weeds out when they're smaller, but weeding is definitely important because otherwise the roots of the weeds just take over the plants, and the plants don't grow as quickly. And also it's hard to, once you harvest the plants, it's hard to get at that plant if there's weeds growing up around it. And you can, as you saw, I was just pulling them out with my hands. You can also use some garden tools to weed as well.